Dog and kids or cat kids?
Oh, this is huge. Oh yeah, look. We got the books. Oh look, Mama, they're making the one guy, the book.
Put their names on them. You guys want to put your name on them? You can. There's some Sharpies.
Can I take it off, Mama? Can I take it off? Okay. Oh wow. Huh? Oh, the mascot. Here. Here, can you put this in the back? No, like, take, just put this right there. There you go. How do I put this on? Okay. Here, give me the ticket. Look, it's the movie. We go over there with the mascot. Here, put it on. I think so. Yeah. Whoa, there's much stuff in here. I'll check it out later. There's the mascot over there. Where do you think we can come out? Here or over there? Over there?
Miren, chicos. Hombre perro, aquí es. Hombre perro, aquí es. Hombre perro, aquí es.
I don't think so.
despite it being a little windy, but we'll take it. Sunshine anytime is good. I know you guys aren't here for me, sadly, but we all are so excited to get privileged to celebrate Dog Man and this last stop on our Celebrating Heroes Around the World tour. Are we excited to hear from Dave? We will be getting started in just a few minutes, guys. We were just getting our last friends in, seated, situated. So thank you guys for hanging tight and for being patient. So we'll get started in just a few minutes.
Can everybody hear me okay? Before we begin, I just wanted to say thank you for your patience. I know we're starting a little bit late. I'm so honored to be here back in the great state of Texas. Thank you all for welcoming us on our tour. And one of the things we've been trying to do on this tour is to celebrate the heroes that we have around us every single day. And in this auditorium, we have many teachers and librarians and booksellers who have volunteered their time to make this event possible, to bring the whole community together to celebrate literacy. And you may have noticed the kids sitting around me in a square shape. These are our award winners who wrote essays about their favorite heroes. They're all brilliant children, and I'm so glad to meet you all of you. Let's have a big hand for our essay winners. All right, should we get started? Okay. Let's see if I can figure this out. Can everybody see that? Oh, I already messed up. Okay. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. Oh, can you see that up there? Okay, good. This is me when I was a kid. And yes, I was made out of Play-Doh. I had gray hair though, so it all worked out. I also had a few other things though. I had ADHD, and I was dyslexic, and I was in class clown, and I couldn't sit still very well. I was disorganized, and I didn't listen very well. I was fidgety and smart aleck, and I daydreamer, and I questioned authority. I learned differently, and I was social anxiety, and I didn't use my time for my Y'all ever hear of Flat Stanley? Well, I felt a little bit like Flat Dave because of my challenges. I think one of the biggest challenges though I had when I was a kid was when it came to dyslexia. And that basically means that I had a problem with reading. I had a lot of challenges with reading. And it was kind of sad because I was the only kid in my whole class who had dyslexia. I was the only one. Everybody else could read just fine. So if my teacher would say, okay, everybody, take out your books and open them up and start reading, everybody was really happy. And they got these smiles on their faces and they opened up their books. They could read just fine, no problem. But when I had to read, things were a little bit different. My hair would go bling like that, and my teeth would start to chatter, and I'd start to shake a little bit, and I'd start to sweat a little bit because I couldn't keep up with everybody else. I just couldn't keep up. Okay, that's a lot of sweat going on there, actually. Pretty soon the whole classroom would fill up with sweat, and everybody's feet would get wet. It was not very pleasant for anybody. However, one of the other challenges that I had was when it came to ADHD. You may have heard of ADHD. Because of my ADHD, I had a problem paying attention and behaving myself in the classroom. So my teacher would send me out into the hallway a lot. And sometimes I would come home from school and I would feel very, very sad. It just seemed like I was the only kid in my whole class who had all these challenges. And I'd be a little depressed and I'd figure, why me? Why am I always the one who's got these challenges? But fortunately, I have a very positive mom. My mom has the best attitude, and she always believes that everything happens for a reason, and if you have a good attitude, you can figure it out. So my mom taught me
Yeah.
something very, very important, and it's all about positivity. And we're going to talk about some of the things that I learned as a kid. First, they all start with the letter P, so they're pretty easy to remember. But the first one is positivity, and that basically means just having a good attitude, even when things are not going your way. I made when I was a kid. It's about a character
Mira,
made
¿y cómo los rescató?
and this comic is actually more than 50 years old. And when I was a kid, though, Dogman is a little bit different than the character that you may have read about. When I was a kid, Dogman was basically just a regular dog who used to just kind of hang out and be a regular dog. But one day, something pretty amazing happened. There was a terrible storm, and lightning flashed down from the sky, and it resulted in one of the greatest special effects that has ever been seen in a comic book of all time. Are you ready for this?
Yay!
Hang on to your seats, everybody, because this is going to be amazing. You ready? Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. He gained superpowers, and that's what happened to Dogman. So he grew a cape somehow, and he could fly in the air,
¿Cuántos
and
pasos
birds
tiene
could
tu
talk for some reason. I don't know why. But you know, if anybody was ever having a hard time, if anybody was ever in trouble, Dogman would help them out. Like in this case, the airplane's falling from the sky, so he took his leash and he swung it around like a lasso, and let's see if I can. Oh yeah, he grabbed the airplane right by the nose and he let it down to the flew it down.
This is
down
the
safely
first
to the ground.
idea.
And Dogman was a wonderful superhero. He saved the day, great superhero, just like my mom. But it's based on something I used to do when I was a kid. I love taking little broken toys, little pieces of cardboard and tape, and gluing them together and creating new things. And these are some scenes from my very messy studio in Japan. But when I'm there, I do the same thing I used to do as a kid. I take all kinds of broken stuff and tape and cardboard, and I make new toys and new characters and new vehicles. And once I've done that, I can actually use those to write stories about. Have any of you read the Captain comic book books? So you might notice some of these setups. Like you see that smoke coming out of that building there? That's from an old pillow that somebody was throwing away. And so I cut it open, I took the fluffy stuff out, and I glued it to some cardboard. And actually everything you see here is either a broken toy or a piece of something that nobody else wanted. But the thing is that you can all do this too. It's really easy, it's really fun. All it takes is a little bit of imagination and a whole lot of practice to create your own stories out of just throwaway stuff. Now, my mom not only taught me to be positive, but she also influenced a lot of the characters that you might see in the Dogman books. Like, you know, most of you read Dogman, you know Little Petey, right?
Sí.
You know how Little Petey is always trying to get Petey to become a better person or a better cat, you know, like by encouraging him and loving him and trying to be a better version of himself. Well, Little Petey is based on my mom. And my mom encouraged me my whole childhood. And so all through elementary school and high school, I was making comics. But when I got into college, I decided to try my hand at writing a children's book. And I wrote my very first book for kids when I was 19 years old. It's called World War I. And I was so excited because when I was 19, my book actually got published. And I was really thrilled. I thought, wow, I'm a teenage author. Things are going to be awesome for me from now on. And that's what I learned about another word that starts with the letter P, persistence. For Thanksgiving. And I really care about this book. I put my
One to the first book.
And I actually made a rough draft. I think some of you probably make rough drafts when you write your stories and things. I made a rough draft of this book, and I drew it up out, and I glued the text in, and I stapled all of the pages together, and I put the whole book into an envelope, and I mailed it to a publisher in New York City because I wanted the book to be published. And I was so excited because 2 weeks later, the publisher wrote back to me. They wrote me a letter, and I opened it up, and I lost my place. Wait a minute. Oh! And I got rejected. They didn't like my story. And I was very, very sad. Really sad because they didn't like it. So I didn't give up though. I took that story and I put it into a second envelope and I mailed it to a second publisher. And 2 weeks later, they wrote back to me and they didn't like it either. So I took that story and I put it into a third envelope. You never had to believe it. 2 weeks later, they wrote back to me and they didn't like it either. So I took that story into a fourth envelope, and a fifth envelope, and a sixth envelope, and a seventh, and an eighth, and nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Different publishers did not like my story. 23 publishers rejected the story, they sent it back, they said no thanks. And I was heartbroken. I didn't know what to do, but I knew not to give up. So I mailed it out to a 24th publisher. And when they finally wrote back to me, I wasn't expecting anything. But they liked it. They actually really liked it. Because I can't give it up. This book never would have been published. And actually, there would never have been any of these books if I had given up all those days back then. And there would never have been a Captain Underpants movie, and there wouldn't be a Captain Underpants TV show, and there wouldn't be a Dog Man musical if I'd given up, and there wouldn't be a Cat Kid Comic Club musical, and there wouldn't be a Dog Man musical. And even though Poppy is a little kid, she's actually figured out her purpose. And her purpose is to make the whole world a better place every single day. And she does this by doing simple things. By being nice to everybody, by just sharing kindness, and by being a helper, helping out with stuff, and by being grateful, by being thankful. So Poppy's got it all figured out. But her brother Melvin, he has some questions about this. He points out that everything she just said is all little stuff. And how can little things make the whole world a better place? Well, Poppy does something kind of unusual. She reaches down and she picks up a pebble off the ground. And she shows the pebble to her brother and sister. And she shows them, they all see that it's very, very small. But then she takes that pebble and she tosses it out into the pond where it clicks on the water. And suddenly, there are these circular waves that begin to spread out across the surface of the water. And as they sit there, those waves grow and grow. And they get bigger and bigger. And as they spread out along the surface of the pond, the waves reach out and they start to touch other things. And they bounce off of those things. And they create new waves of their own. And sometimes they even move things. Move plants and other things in a very subtle way. Sometimes in ways that we can't even see. And I think Poppy's whole reason behind her purpose is that it doesn't really matter how big we are or how small we are. It's the little things that we do every day that make a difference in this world. The little things that we do reach out across the entire planet and make the world a better place. And if you don't believe Poppy, and if you don't believe me, I want to introduce you to somebody who made my whole world a better place. This is my mom. And my mom, through her through believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. She changed my entire world. And I think that is something that we can all do. I think it's a power that we all have to make this world a better place. Now, I'm going to switch things up a little bit, and I'm going to draw some pictures. Is that okay? Okay. All right. So,
Lo sabe a la perfección.
yeah, close this down.
Eso, está diciendo.
Okay. So, where should we move this? Can I, if I do this, we're gonna.
Stop is here. Good job.
That's okay? Alright. I'm sorry I have to do this. You won't be able to see this, but if you look up there, you can see, okay? Now, usually, when an author comes to an event like this, and the author talks, there's a time during the presentation where everyone raises their hands and they ask questions. And the author answers the question. But today we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to ask the questions, and if anybody knows the answers, just raise your hand. And we have helpers here today. My friend Cherise, my friend Lizette, they both came from New York to help us today. Everybody say, hi, Cherise! Hi, Lizette! Okay, all right. They're going to be helping me today. I'm going to ask questions, and if you get the answer right, either Cherise or Lizette will hand you a gift bag that includes this. And inside of here is a gift certificate to our friends at Barnes & Noble. And you can use it at any of their stores or online on their website to buy any books you want. You don't have to buy my books. You can buy whatever you want. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, all right. Everybody look up there. And I'm going to draw a picture.
George! It's 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 George! Really easy! George! It's George! It's George! It's easy! It's George! 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 It's George! It's George! George! It's George! Really easy!
Harold from Captain of the Gas. And right now I'm going to draw Harold's best
Tu teléfono está
friend.
muy caliente. It's George! Harold! It's Harold! Harold! George and Harold! George and Harold! That's Harold! 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 Good job! It's Harold!
ADD stands for attention deficit. And that kind of implies that people with ADHD have a hard time paying attention. And I gotta tell you, I'm a writer. I write books
Yo
for a living.
hice eso,
And
sufre
so
de una
I
cosa que hace
I
que se
have a hard
ponga
time
mal.
paying attention. I think I just have a hard time paying attention to boring stuff. And I don't think that that's my problem. I think people should just stop being so boring. I'm glad you agree.
¿Cuál será el premio?
And the H stands for hyperactivity. And a lot of people say that children are sometimes hyperactive, but kids have a lot of energy. You guys know that, right? I think if you took a whole bunch of grown-ups and you put them into a room and you told them to sit still and pay attention for 6 hours, you might see some,
Serás
some
mencionado
fidgeting and some goofing off. I don't know that we would call adults names that would say that they have a disorder, but you know, everybody's different. But the point is I wanted kids, whenever they heard the words ADHD, when they heard these letters, I wanted them to hopefully, perhaps, think of this character, ADHD, who is not only a wonderful person and a great hero, but he's somebody who uses his creativity and his imagination constantly to make the world a better place. So, our second question is about ADHD. And I think we're going to go to the best. to give you some instructions about what's going to happen next. However, I hope that all of you have a chance to stick around because I love to meet all of you. And I just wanted to end this portion of our presentation by thanking everyone, all the grown-ups who brought all the children here today. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for coming here today on Daily Sunday. And we're going to get it. Thank you.
Two 2,000 years later.